another day in the shop. I got a paying customer, another project. You guys saw the handrail one I did. It's actually Matthias's boss. So the last project I did is his boss, part-time boss, I guess. He hit me up about this. So this is kind of what I'm building, you guys. I actually drew this up on my software for my router. Wow, that ain't gonna work very well. So this is what I'm building. It's a 14-foot man basket. And it has a rack up there on the back so they can put their material up here, cut, and then inside their house. So it's the guy does siding for a living, or partially, mainly construction, but he wants this for doing siding. So you can see back here, it has a little rack. The forklift tube's gonna extend out past it. It's gonna be 3 foot wide. But yeah, my software did an awesome job for my router to draw this up, to kind of put it in scale for him. So, because he did ask for a drawing. So that's what I did. I drew that up, kind of gave it to him. He said, yep, go for it. So this is where I've made it so far, you guys. So this is the main base of it. It's gonna have this expanded metal on it on the top here. So this is like 4-inch C-channel on the outside. I put all the C-channel facing out, so all these joints were square cuts, so I'm not mitering stuff or notching all this. So all my supports here that are 2x3s that are gonna attach into this, they're just straight cuts. I don't have to try to notch it for this. That way I can build it flush to here and it'll give enough support for my 3/4 expanded metal. But yeah, this is kind of where I'm at, you guys. I'm working on cutting my centers out here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I got 3 more to cut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do 2 more. I have it on the drawing as only 1 more, but I think I need at least 2 more. I might even go 3. I just kind of threw that in there, trying to figure out, give them some kind of drawing, but it's actually going to have more because I don't want this much gap in between here, because it's going to get spongy. That stuff is when it's expanded 3/4, because that's going to deck the whole top of this. This thing's going to have rails coming all the way around it here, you guys. Then off this back section, there's going to be that little platform so they can put all their metal or siding up there to cut and do whatever. I'm gonna put a chain across the front here. There'll be a chain on the back somewhere in the middle so they can hook this around the basket of their forklift. So if they hit something, this thing won't slide off the forks and go tumbling down. So kind of just a safety chain. That's kind of, I don't know if it's requirements for OSHA or anything, but I'm literally just building this. He said, this is what I want, and I'm building it. I told him what he does with it on his own time. It's his own business. So yeah, he's kind of taken the liability of it, so, which is good, because I kind of told him, I'm like, I don't really want to build it if you're going to be lifting people with it. And he said, just build it and I will deal with the consequences. I was like, all right, it's on you. So that's kind of where we're at. We're going to try to get this thing. I'm still waiting for, because there's going to be forklift tubes that go here, you guys, and another set that goes here, and then another set on the end. I'm still waiting for that one piece of tube. It's like 3x8, and it was not cheap, and they had to order it. My supplier in Gray Falls, Steels, etc., they actually had to order it. They didn't have it in stock, so hopefully that'll be coming down next week. Hopefully before it snows again, so they can get the truck in here. They were a little skeptical about getting this amount of material into me, because it's still kind of snowy and cold out, you guys. I got heaters going in here, trying to warm it up a little bit, but it's still quite a bit snowy, as you can see. They were afraid of getting there. They had to bring all this on a semi, so you can see his tracks out there. He swung way wide. He actually drove through my ditch over there, which I'm gonna put a culvert in there someday, but I didn't think he'd drive through with his semi, but he totally did. He drove right in here and dumped it and drove right out. So that's kind of why I built this circle, so I could get metal dropped all the time. My thought was the semis coming this way, back right into my shop. I could unload my metal, then they could go. Most of them I'm not here when they drop, when they show up, so they just drop my metal out here. He actually dropped this out in the middle of the the road, because he didn't want to get his semi too far off my main road there. So yeah, but he got it done, thank God, because I didn't want to have to go pick it up. It's hard for me to leave work sometimes to go pick up metal. So he got it here, so we're gonna keep whittling at these guys. I'm gonna get the rest of these cut out. This thing is 33 inches wide. It's 3 foot wide. Those middle pieces are 33, because these are like 1.5 inches on the outside, so I had to subtract that out to get these centers. So we're going to cut at least 2 or 3 more, and then we'll start squaring up this outside frame. You guys see me square up a lot of stuff, so I'll tack all the corners and then just tape measure corner to corner to get it squared up. So it's kind of where we're working at, what we're gonna do. We are back to the cord on the GoPro. Yay! It's a piece of crap. Don't buy a GoPro, you guys. That's advice of the day from Chad here at Clawworks. Yeah, don't buy GoPro. They suck. All right. We are still on this man basket. You guys can see I lifted this thing up on the sawhorses. This thing's not light. That's 4-inch C channel. That's 2x3 square tube in the middle for all the essentially floor joists. Supports inside. It's heavy. I did get it up there. What I did want to show you guys, so this is some 1-inch square tube. I literally placed this under both sides to get my spacing right, because this is 4-inch, this is 3-inch. So that got me right up to height. I literally had that laying on the ground. Set that under there, and I tacked all these in. Once I tacked everything in, I rechecked square, so from corner to corner. You guys have seen me do that multiple times. From this corner, opposite corner, and same thing, this corner to opposite corner, to make sure this thing's square. If it's not square, you guys, you got to kind of move your side pieces like this to get them to line back up, where those corners are the same. That's how you square stuff up. You guys see me do it a lot. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm gonna get all these supports welded in. I'm gonna get these ends welded in. Then the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna start cutting for railing. All this square tube on the bottom, it's this 1-inch square tube. This will be the railing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna notch that corner so this piece goes down through there. It'll weld to here and weld to here. It'll come through both sections of this, and then come up. These small notches, it'll only be on the top side too. It's only gonna be notched there because it's gonna be flush against there, you guys. This one small notch is a lot better than if I would have had this the other way. You can imagine trying to get all this 3x2 to line up here. The notch that I'd have to do right here would just be miserable. That's why I did it this way with the C channel facing out. And it'll give this somewhere for this rail to attach top and bottom. It'll start giving it a lot more structure too, you guys, because these rails are gonna go all the way down here, and across the other side. There'll be a lower bar here and an upper bar somewhere up here. Then there's gonna be a shelf off the back of this, you guys, like a kind of a L, so they can put all their material on it. Then I gotta cut all the sheeting, put the sheeting on, or not sheeting, expanded metal. That'll be cut. I gotta cut it, those are 4x8 sheets. I gotta cut them down to 3x14. So I needed 2 sheets to get it done. It kind of is what it is. Those are like, I think they're like $100 right now. So not cheap, but yeah, this guy needs this thing pretty bad. We're gonna see, I might throw that up here and try to walk on this, see if this stuff dips. I'm a little afraid this is about 16.5-inch gap right here, you guys. I'm a little afraid it's gonna be a little spongy. If it is, I might have to move these. So I'm gonna probably try that first, see what this does. I'm hoping it's gonna be enough, man. There's eight supports in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I put 8 of them in here. I'm hoping it's enough to support that 3/4. Yeah, I hope, you guys. It's a pretty big gap, but I'm hoping that stuff, since it's raised and not flat, that it won't bow as bad because it's got more rigidity. For you guys that don't know what raised is, so you can see this is actually, they actually cut slits in this and then stretch it to make this stuff. But it's raised. You can see how it's it has like the thickness of the material right there. The flat stuff, it doesn't have this kind of texture to it, where you can actually see it's kind of raised up, kind of like a mountain. The flat stuff is just flat. There's no bumps or waves or anything like that. I wish I had a piece of flat to show you. Actually I do somewhere. So I was gonna put it in that bumper. There it is right there. So this is flat, you guys. You can see the thickness of it. It's just flat. There's none of these, like where these high spots are, none of them are sticking out that way, whereas that stuff is actually raised. This stuff is a lot flimsier than that. Being raised, it's almost like putting a bead in it, whereas this flat stuff, you can see when I push on it, it just bends. That stuff doesn't really do that, because it's, like I said, it's kind of like having a thin metal with a bead roll in it. It gives it some structure and some rigidity. So I think what I'm gonna do is throw this up here, and I'm gonna try to walk on this. This thing's tacked together good enough. Even up on these sawhorses, it should be able to support my weight. It better be able to. And we're gonna test this, see what it's gonna be like. Ooh, we'll put some weight on this. My dad built me these sawhorses, so if they break, oh yeah, that's not gonna be enough. Definitely not gonna be enough. Shitski. Oh boy. I don't like it, you guys, it's flexy. Ooh, that sucks. Yeah. Might have to think about this a little bit, you guys. I don't know. You can see me walking on it. It is moving a little bit. This is a pretty good gap here. Damn. And I just tacked those all in like 4 different spots. Ah. Not 100% sure I like that. My first thought was to divide this and run stringers this way. But I'm gonna have to order more material to make that happen. That sucks. This was a lot of material, you guys. This is like $908. I don't know. Maybe it's just flexing because I don't have it tacked down. Oh, I don't know though. Gosh, I'm a little nervous about this now. I think I'm gonna get online, you guys. I'm gonna get online and kind of research some other man baskets that are out there. I know they make like, I think the biggest one I've seen is like a 12-foot. This thing's 14 feet, you guys. I'm gonna get online and do a little research, see what they're using for. I know a lot of them use diamond plate here. He wanted it expanded metal so he could see through it as they're sighting, so they could see what's below them. So I might have to add more supports, maybe 1 down the middle, maybe 2 down the middle, I don't know. That's just a big gap. I thought this was gonna be a lot sturdier. But like I said, maybe just tacking it together will strengthen that up a little bit. Tacking this to the actual tubing, you guys. I don't know. I'm working on welding this thing out, you guys. I'm doing all the vertical welds right now on all these stringers. I got the ends welded, and I work from that end this way, and I'm doing all the verticals on all these stringers and the ends. Like I said, I welded the outsides, these tops here. We'll have to grind those smooth. Once I get all the verticals, that should hold this thing from racking. Then I can weld all the tops, flip it, weld all the bottoms. Then we can start doing the railings going up. So we'll get after this. There you guys, we got all these verticals done. You can see I welded all these up, all the verticals. You know, you guys, if this was like super structural, I'd be welding this vertical up. I'm literally welding them vertical down. It's just a lot easier to lay the bead in there to get this tied together. But yeah, we're pretty close here, guys. I think what I'm gonna do is come through and hit all these top ones so I can get them all ground down, because we got grading on this side. This is our side that's flush here. You guys know that this is 2x3. This is 2x3, 4-inch. So we got a little bit of a gap underneath the bottom here. Not a big deal, but we are going to weld these in all the way across these tops, get them all ground smooth. And then what I'm probably going to do is flip this thing and weld all the bottoms, flip it back this way, and then we'll start notching corners, getting our rails cut, start getting our rails tacked in. Yeah, we'll keep working here though. So I was trying to flip this thing, I forgot to record, but exactly what happened, thought I would. I literally had my sawhorse over here, you guys, and you guys can see my pulley's way up over here. I was trying to pull at an angle. I figured it was gonna pull it off the sawhorse. I was trying to hold this one in and lift and let it slide that way. Sawhorse tipped over and I gouged my concrete right there. God, bounced a few times. Sucks. But anyways, I got it lifted up, you guys. What I'm gonna do is set it down and then let it slowly fall down this way so I can weld the backside of all this. I did get all my welds ground smooth on this side where my grading's gonna touch. When I put the grading down, I'll probably come back and grind all this. Just get the mill scale and the crap off of the metal that's on there. But yeah, literally, you guys, that's my winch cable. Goes down to my Jeep. This is how I flip a lot of stuff. So we should be able to just let it down slowly. This winch doesn't work real good going in reverse, so we go fast. We're there. I know it's not the safest thing in the world, you guys, but it's what I got. This saves my back. My back is kind of junky. It's not the greatest back in the world. I heard it quite a few years ago. But yeah, serves my purpose. Now I can come back and I can weld all these, you guys. You see, here's my inch gap, because this is 3, this is 4. So you can see the gap there. So I'll come back through, weld all these, get these welded up. I'll grind these ones smooth. These I'll leave, but these ones I'm gonna grind smooth. Yeah, you guys can kind of see when my metal guy delivered it, he gouged the hell out of my metal on all 4 corners. Because literally what he does, I believe what he does is sets it off on the edge of the trailer, kind of like that. Leaves one end touching the ground over here, then he just backs the trailer out and drops it on the ground. It's not the greatest for my metal. A lot of the stuff I get, like even this, kind of had a little bow to it because he lets it sag and it bends it. So just a little, not enough to really worry about. And usually by the time I'm done welding it out, you guys can see that thing is flat as a freaking dime, dude. It is super straight now, which is good. You guys saw me weld that. I constantly welded that thing from one end to the other, did all my verticals. That's why you do your verticals first, you guys. That holds stuff in place, then come back and do your flats. Literally I did these flats, I ground them smooth, now I'm gonna do this. So any heat that made this thing kind of warp this way, now when I weld this side, it's gonna pull it back. So if I have any kind of bow, it should pull it back. But that's why you do all your verticals first, because it locks everything in place. Once it's locked in place, you come back into these flats. As long as you do one side then the other, it works against itself and it pulls it back and forth to keep the stuff flat. And that's kind of what we're going for. I need this thing pretty flat, so I'm gonna probably leave this hooked up because I'm gonna have to flip this right back over because this is the bottom, you guys. I'm gonna start working on the rails once I get this thing flipped back over. I probably will not weld the rails to this, but I'll get everything notched and all the rails cut. I'll get all the rails welded together separately. I want to get these tubes on, these square tubes for the forklift, before I put the rails on, because I don't want to weld overhead. I want to be able to weld it in this flat position. So once I put my forklift tubes on here and here and on the ends, then I can weld it out here. I'll flip it over, then I'll add all my rails. But I'll get everything notched, welded, all the rails together. I just don't want to be flipping this with the rails on because the rails are like quite a bit lighter weight material. They're only like 14 gauge. I did that to save on the weight because this bottom piece is so heavy. That's literally just keep people in. 14 gauge should be plenty strong enough. I do got to go buy some chain too. I kind of told you guys I was going to do chain in the front, so I do got to go buy that at some point this weekend. But I'm literally trying to get this and all the rails done probably either tonight, maybe tomorrow, so that when my tube comes in, my square tube, I can just, or my rectangle tube, I can just put those on, flip this over, add my rails, be done with this project. So this is actually going a lot quicker than I thought it was gonna. I was expecting, you know, quite a few hours, but it's going pretty quick because of the way I laid it out. You guys really, when you're building a project, really think about the fastest, quickest way for you guys to build it so you can make as much money as you can and free up as much time as possible to get on to the next job. Like my beep over there. It's really what I'm doing. I'm trying to get this done so I can make some money to work on that beep. Because I'm trying not to take any money out of my paycheck that pays for everything else for our family. So that beep I'm trying to do free or work it off, trade work, something to, so I'm not using my actual paycheck to take away from my family. So that's kind of where we're at. I'll probably get you guys set up and I'm gonna weld all these out right now. I'll get them all welded out. I'll flip this thing back over and I'm gonna work on notching those corners. you're good to go. You guys can see welds are pretty nice. They're all T-welds, so they're pretty easy, but yeah, nice welds. Gotta look good for the customer, man. That's like my thing. Whatever I kick out there, I want it to look really good. So you guys can see the welds are pretty damn nice. Yeah, so we'll get these ones ground down, these 4 on the outside. Flip this thing back over, we'll start working on these rails.